Hello, friends. It's my pleasure to welcome you to another interesting class in our Adobe Photoshop CC. And in today's class, I'm going to teach you guys how you can create calendar using Photoshop. In this class, we are going to create desk calendar and work calendar using our Adobe Photoshop. But before we get tutorial started, there are things you need to know before you create your calendar. One of the things you need to know is that you cannot generate calendar number using Photoshop. So what we are going to do in this class is that we will go to internet to generate calendar, or other method by which you can generate calendar number is making use of CorelDRAW Wizard. So for those of you that have CorelDRAW, I'm going to show you how you can generate your calendar number using calendar Wizard in CorelDRAW. But for those of you that doesn't have CorelDRAW, you have the opportunity to download your calendar number on internet, right? So the first thing I'm going to show you guys is how you can generate your calendar number using CorelDRAW. So let me bring out my CorelDRAW software, right? So I will make a new file. I will go to file and make a new page. So I'll call this one here. The title of my design can be calendar number. Okay, so I'll come to the size here. I can just make use of A4 size. All right, so I make sure that the color is CMYK because calendar design is a print work, so we need to consider that. Then finally I'll click on OK. All right, so I'll go to my home tab here. I will change the paper orientation to landscape. Okay, so next thing I'm going to do is to go to my home tab here in CorelDRAW. So I'll go to tools, then I will look for macron, then you look for run macron. All right, so from the dialog box here, you come here and select calendar wizard. Then you come here and click on run calendar wizard. Right, so from the dialog box you can see here, this is where you generate your calendar. So for this case now, we might generate all, we might generate a single month. So let's say for instance we want to generate all 2020 calendar. You come here and select all. It's going to tick everything. Right, so if we are to generate just a single month, so we have to just uncheck the January, check. So I think I'm going to, let's say if I need just a single month, this is October. Okay, so let's say I need only October. So I will check the October, then I will uncheck every other one right away because I need a single month calendar. Then here is 2020. If you want to generate October 2021, you just click on this forward arrow, then it's going to take to 21. But in this case, I'm still in 2020, so I'll come down below here and click on the drop down arrow to generate the 2020. Then I will make sure the language is English. Then the Sunday week start on Sunday, so I'll select it. But in some country, week start from Friday, so you just have to come here and select whenever the week starts in your country, right? So we are still doing the same thing, right? So the next thing you have to do is that we need to do some stuff here. So we need to click on expand. So when we click on expanding, we will be able to see everything in our calendar so far. So now in this case, I will have to format some of the things I don't need in this layout. So we start from large header. So when you click on large header, every information about header is going to drop down immediately. So I have to uncheck all the borders. I don't want my calendar to have border. So once you are clicking on it, it's going to remove everything about the border. So you can come here and change the font style. All right, so let me look for another font. I think I'm okay with this type of font. Then you can click on OK. So the font is going to change automatically. So you want to change the color, you can double click on the black color panel here. So I'm going to change to this type of blue. Then I'll click on OK. So everything will change just like that. So now the next thing is that we have to move to font header. So what font header means are this Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So I have to come here and uncheck all their border also. So I don't want them to have border. All right, so we have to increase the font size so that we'll be able to see what is being written there. So we have to click on this. Then we can as well change the font style. Then we can increase to 20 and let's see what is written there. Now I think we are able to see it a little bit. So we can go back and increase the font size as well. So let's see 24 and then we click on OK. Now so we can see that the header is somehow close to the margin, the stroke margin, right? So what we are going to do here is that we can come down here and so before we do that, we need to work on the font size of Sunday. So we need to come down here. This is Sunday box. So where you see red, so we click on it. Then we change it to same font style. Then the same font size. Then we click on OK. So everything has been equal. So one other thing we can do is that we can click on this and make sure we turn the header text into a one letter, that is M represents Monday, T represents Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and so on. So one other thing we can do is that we can go to the position, we can take it to the bottom if that is where we want our our days to appear. But if we don't want it in that way, we can go back to top left. So it's going to give us the same thing, right? So now we have done with the large header in the segment of our calendar wizard using CorelDRAW. So now let's move to large body. So when we click on large body, we're still going to have the same thing, right? So one of the things we can do here is that we can decide to remove border also, or we can decide to remove the vertical divider line, or we can leave the vertical divider line and remove the horizontal divider line, right? So we can remove the border left, then remove the border right, right? So one other thing is that we can remove the moon face. So now we can change the font size from 16 so that it's become more readable and we can see it very clear. So we can use this type of font right here. And let's see 26. Then we click on OK. Right. So the Bank Gothic, that's the font name. Then we can do the same thing with Sunday. So Black Gothic, this is the font we use, then 26, and then we click on OK. So everything has been equal. So one other thing we can do is that we can notice that the days at the top is not aligned with the days, right? So what we can do here is that we can come to the text position here and make sure we snap it to the center, right? So in this regard, if we are able to satisfy with the way and manner we generate the calendar, so we can just go ahead and click on generate. But in some cases, you may like to put everything in a box, just like the way it appear in at the beginning of when we are creating this stuff. So we can go back and add every stroke. So then we can go back to the large header and add above stroke. Oh, sorry, don't want stroke. Okay, can have stroke here. We can have stroke, then stroke, and below stroke. All right. So if we like it to generate in this way, then you are good to go. So lastly, if we are able to format everything in CorelDRAW Wizard, the next thing to do is to click on generate. And this same way you generate a single calendar is still the same way you generate the whole year calendar. All you have to do is to just select all, choose the number of year, and do your proper format. Then finally, you'll come here and click on generate. So CorelDRAW is going to generate it within some seconds, so you can see. So finished generating calendar. Then we click on OK, and then we click on cancel. So this is the calendar that we're going to use for our calendar design in Photoshop. So one other thing we can do here is that we can ungroup it and remove the background. So we can do anything we like, but in some cases we might not like it to have we might like it to have a background, but in this case I would show you how you can edit it so that if you encounter in a situation whereby you want to edit, you don't find it difficult. So all you have to do is to go to ungroup. So when you ungroup, everything become a single letter, something like this. So you can as well change the font size, you can as well change the font style, you can do anything you want as far as we have ungrouped everything. So we can select the background border and delete. Then we select the body background and delete. Oh, sorry, Ctrl Z. So let me create a new border, a new background. I will double click on my rectangle to make a page border. Then let me fill it with this type of color. Okay, now so you can see that we still have background, white background with the month and stuff. So what I'm going to do is this. Okay, it has been dragged out. Ctrl Z. Then we can delete. So you can delete. But in some cases, you see, when we delete the background, it's going in line with the stroke. So we can press Ctrl Z, and leave everything in that way, right? So we can go back here and delete the background. So I think we are good to go with the way this calendar is being generated. So finally, we need to export it in PSD file format so that by the time we want to open it in Photoshop, we don't have any issue. And this is another opportunity for you guys to know how you can export CorelDRAW file in the JPEG format or PNG format into Adobe Photoshop. So all you have to do is to go to the home tab in your CorelDRAW, then you click on this particular icon here. This is simply means export. So the dialog box is going to pop up like this. So like I said earlier, you can export in JPEG, you can export in PSD. This is depends on the kind of format you will like. You know, Photoshop can open a JPEG file, can open PNG file, and also can as well open EPS file. But in this case, I'm going to save this file in PSD file. So you have to come down to save file type and click on this box here and select PSD file. You can see PSD, yeah, Adobe Photoshop. So when we select that, it's going to turn into Photoshop file. So I will select it in, I will save it in desktop. Then we click on export. Now everything looks good here. We still maintain our resolution to be 300, the height and weight, then the percentage of everything. So everything looks good. We don't need to touch anything at the top right here. So we come here and click on OK. All right, so now let's go to, this is how you do everything in CorelDRAW, right? So let's go and see the PSD file in my desktop. So this is it, calendar number. So if I click on the PSD file, it's going to load and show you, and it's going to open up automatically in Photoshop. Look at it here. So this is how you export. So we can drag this and take it to our design still in a vector file. And in this case here, we can also remove the white background if you don't want it to have a background. All you have to do is to select your rectangular marquee tool and select the background. It's going to pick them one after the other and click on delete. And this is how everything is done in Adobe Photoshop. So right, so without wasting up much of our time, let's see how we generate calendar on internet for the purpose of people that doesn't have CorelDRAW on their PC and they want to design calendar, right?